Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Max Gloeckner, and explain a little bit about my story just very quickly. And the rest of the time, I just want to put as much value into your hearts and brains as I possibly can, because I'm really committed here to serve you to my best abilities, because I feel like 99% of the people completely forgot and can't remember how powerful they truly are on building any dream they want to achieve or have in their life, in building the life that you want to manifest for yourself. As you probably can notice very easily on my accent, I'm from Germany originally, coming from a small town in Germany called Freiburg. Very beautiful city in the Black Forest area, which is in the southwestern part of Germany, not Munich, but the other side, close to the border of Switzerland and France. The Black Forest is an amazing area full of thick, dark wood, mountain forest area. It's incredible. Beautiful, especially for small children to grow up and also old people to live there, because it's great air and so forth. Now, during my teenager time, I had a lot of difficulties. I was not an easy child, I guess, because I had to change schools over 7 times in order to make my high school degree finally. So one of the good news is I'm sharing this one because no matter how messed up you are or where, you can always fulfill your dreams. You can always make it. We are all on this collective journey of life together, which is beautiful. But each and every one of us has individual amazing experiences. And I believe these experiences are often time worth sharing. And my story is, it's all about magic. It's all about miracles. And once again, I'm coming from Germany, in a place where there is not a lot of magic, where there are basically no miracles existing. If you go into this field of collective consciousness in Germany, you will not have a lot of resonance happening in their minds of the people when you talk about synchronicities, about manifestation, about all these things. It's not really happening there. But it's really interesting. And then I think we need to go back a little bit in bird's eye perspective and ask ourselves, why is that we have in these countries a less understanding of the magic and the miracles and the manifestation and the spiritual thinking and ideas than when we go to the eastern part of Southeast Asia, for example, India, where we have over 1 billion people. Most of them are really highly spiritual people, growing up in traditions and spiritual areas. And you have people now coming into India and staying sometime in India, going to some mountain in India, to an ashram, and they have a monk in front of them, and this monk is materializing a ring for them. And how is this possible? I'm wondering, how is this possible? And I truly believe there is a collective field. There is a collective field that allows you, no matter what you believe to be true, is true for you. And what you don't believe is true is not true for you. And when you're surrounded with people in an environment where everybody believes one thing, you kind of believe the same thing. So in India, if everybody believes, or most of the people believe magic, miracles, things like, synchronicities are no coincidences, then you will have a collective consciousness level that allows people to tap into. And the more people believe in this community, the more of these things are actually appearing. Even if we come to a community like this, and even if it's online, and we have thousands of people, ambitious, a lot of people just getting started and driven to become more successful. If you are in a collective like this, you are automatically pulled up to a different level. You're automatically vibrating on the same frequency. And this is really what you see everywhere. I mean, we say also you become the average of the 5 people you hang out the most with. Depending on which environment you grow up and with who you grow up, you kind of that same kind of person, because this is your blueprint. This is what you have in your mind. So I come up with 3 points that I believe are most important to summarize, to create the dream life that you want, to have your dreams built, and understand that you are manifesting your life all the time the way you want it, and you're already doing this, but 99% of the people are not aware of it. And this is really, really important for people to finally understand. So first of all, one of the things that I want to give you, the number one point that is really necessary for anybody to build their dreams, is we got to search for growth and not for conformity. And that means we need to start embracing struggle. And oftentimes I would really say it like this: pain. Take pain as a reminder to change something in your life. Because every time there is a pain, whatever pain it is, maybe there's a toxic relationship and it hurts you emotionally and it hurts your heart, you have to change something in order to make this toxic relationship either not toxic anymore, or make a move and change your life. Or in your business, you don't make any money, and it's painful in your wallet, it's painful mentally, it's painful in your physical reality that you can't afford for things. You got to make a move, you need to pivot, you make a change. So this pain is a reminder for you to make a change, or maybe let it be a physical pain. Your knees are painful because you're obese. Make a change in your diet, make a different workout, work out more. You need to make a change. So oftentimes these pains are reminders for us to change something. And this pain doesn't mean this is something negative or positive. It's just part of this beautiful life. And we can use pain in order to make a change. For me, in this particular story in Australia, my pain was my heart. It was the pain of missing out something on a life that I didn't know is even existing, because I didn't know the things that I didn't know before. But what if I would know the things that I didn't know before? What would I know? What do you know? When we start knowing more, we actually understand that we don't know anything. And there is so much more to learn and to know. So the journey never ends. And this is really what we have to understand, because when we look at spirituality is to just go above and beyond with everything we have, because there is no limitation to our soul. There is no limitation. The only limitation is we give it to ourselves. We put ourselves into this box, into this society, into this life. And this is our limitation. Let me make you an example. For example, this is my coffee cup, but there's a viral video on YouTube. Okay, and the guy, a scientist, puts in a glass, in a transparent glass jar, he puts like thousands of fleas, and the fleas are jumping out of the jar like crazy. They're jumping out because they can jump out. Now he takes a lid and he puts this is my passport, and he puts the lid onto the jar, and now he puts the jar for 3 days into the corner, and of course the fleas can't jump out. Now after 3 days, undisturbed, he takes the jar, he takes off the lids. And now he looks at the jar, and the fleas never jump out of the jar. Not even the newborn fleas that never experienced anything before jumping out of the jar. We are like fleas. We just believe the things that we know to be true. But what if we would know the things we didn't know before? What could be true? And this is really the question. And this is the journey. So the first step is really search for growth and not for conformity. Because behind the comfort zone is the growth. There's also the struggle, and this is why I'm saying, like, we need to embrace that struggle. Sometimes the pain is a reminder for us to change something. It's always painful to get out of a comfort zone, to do something that is not certain for us. It's always painful, but this is the only way to grow. And you are in nature, right? These are artificial systems. These are artificial layers of an onion being put upon us that we believe to be true, but it's not true, because you know already how beautiful, amazing, and what a genius you are. You know already how amazing you are. And your father, your mom, your pop, your grandfather, probably back in the days when you were 3 years old, they told you how beautiful you are and how amazing you are and how extraordinary you are. But we seem to forget that. We always seem to forget that how special we are and how special this life is. And we forget that this life is our movie. And you are the actor, you're the director, you're the main hero of this movie. So let me ask you this question. In order for you to enjoy a movie or binge a Netflix series, how does this series or the movie need to be? Black and white? 9 to 5? Every day the same thing? In the morning you go toilet, brush your teeth. In the evening you come home. On the weekend you watch a Netflix series. Would you watch that movie? I don't think so. So what are the movies you're watching? They're dramas. They're comedies. Don't watch the horror movies, it's bad vibe. But there are movies, they have action, right? And the movie of life, it's a frequency. It goes up and down, but I can tell you something, because always after the low is low, the highest high is coming. It's always been like this. But the problem is right now, when we go through a change, because there is a pain, usually remind yourself, when you have a pain, when you have a struggle, and you go through and go within the struggle, and you just say, oh, just 1 more month, or I'm going to fix this. And the pain just gets stronger. And eventually the pain gets so strong that you have to make that change. What are you thinking? Usually it's like, why didn't I change earlier? Why didn't I do it earlier? And when we look back, we can connect the dots. Right now, oh my goodness, in the river of change, when things are happening and things are changing and we don't know what's on the other side, it's cold, it's rough, it's tough, because we just don't know where it's going, right? So it's tough for us to make that move because it's so comfortable to not go through the river of change. But behind that river of change, on the other side, there is growth. And this is nature, and this is our spiritual being, what we need to portray in this life. Because when you look into nature and you see a tree, how big is the tree growing? How big will it grow? Until it dies. The problem is we are already dying when we enter mid of 20 after university. Our dreams are dying. I just want to challenge you here. I want to encourage you. I want you all to go for what you can achieve. I want you to know that you are limited in your being and you can create whatever you want in your life. Carl Gustav Jung, one of the most renowned philosophers and psychologists in Germany, he also said, behind your fear is your task. And that's so true. Because when you are fearful, when you are uncomfortable in ways, this is when it makes you grow. Number 2, guys, and this is of course, and you heard it many times, set a goal. Okay, set a goal. This is not goal setting. This is also not positive thinking, guys. I'm going to go a little bit more because the setting of a goal is making you think about something that you truly want to think about. And this is what it needs to be done. This is what it needs to be done. It needs to occupy your mind with an exciting, proud thought of who you want to become, what life you want to live. When you think about this, you think about something new that makes you feel a certain way. When you feel that certain way, you act a certain way. When you act that certain way, you're getting new results. You think about something exciting, something audacious, a huge goal out there, something that makes you really proud, that makes your family proud, that makes you proud of who you truly are. When you feel proud, you acting proud, you speaking proud, you speaking like the person you need to become in order to reach that goal. So you're already there, and then you're getting new results. And this, my ladies and gentlemen, is the whole way of manifestation. This is manifestation per se. This is exactly the process of manifestation. Thinking, feeling because of what we think, feeling, acting because of what we feel, acting, new results because of what we've done. Okay? The problem today is that 99% of the people do think the same 90% yesterday like we do today. It's 90% of today we think the same thoughts like yesterday. Why is that? Why is it so difficult for us to change? Because again, this is the comfort zone. It's our emotional home because we have done it over and 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 over again, that it's so easy for us to think that way. It's almost like instantaneous. Something triggers us, some emotional responses out there. Instantaneous. We are thinking the way we always thinking. Now, let me tell you 4 different ways of how we learn everything. First of all, we're unconscious incompetent. That means if you live, for example, in the jungle and you don't even know there is a car existing, you're unconscious incompetent that you don't know how a car is driving because you just simply don't know there is a car existing. But the second step is conscious incompetent. And this is the same thing when you learn something for the same time. You consciously are incompetent. Let me say that in the car example. You have that car, consciously you don't know how to drive. For the first time, you don't know, okay, there's a steering wheel, there's this. Okay, now you really need to focus, consciously need to focus on how to drive that car. Okay, when you drive that car for the first time, you're consciously incompetent. The second time, you start becoming, or the third, fourth, fifth, or 10th time, conscious competent. That means you can drive that car, because you know how everything works. You know the gas pedal, you know the brake, you know the gearbox, you know the steering, you know how to look, but you consciously do it. Now you're consciously thinking about the things you want to think about. This is how you program. This is how you learn. This is how you create new synapses, new connections in your brain. Conscious competence. You do everything conscious. Now you do it again and again and again and again, and eventually you're unconscious competent. That means it's been programmed into your automatic system, into your subconscious mind, into your blueprint. And now today you driving car for half an hour, you're on your phone sliding on Instagram, and you can't even remember you've been driving for half an hour. You just reach your goal because it's happened automatically. And this is who you are today. This is your identity. This is your belief. You are a car driver. You made this, you created this identity. This is the process of how we create identities. This is the process of how we manifest. This is the process of how we create any dream and make things possible. Masaru Emoto. Maybe some of you guys, who has heard about Masaru Emoto? So he used to be a Japanese scientist, rest his soul in peace, passed away, I don't know how many years ago, but he has conducted incredible experiments. And one of the experiments was he put intentions, thoughts, and words into water. And he speak to the water and say, I love you, I love you. He shock froze the water and he looks at the crystals of the water. Now, when he spoke about love, the crystal became a beautiful shape, almost like the sacred geometry behind me, which is a beautiful loaded frequency. Now, when he spoke with compassion, shock froze it, another beautiful crystal. another beautiful geometry. Peace, another beautiful. Evil, disturbed, chaos, jealousy, something else. So with his mind, not only his, thousands of people, with your intention, you can influence everything with your thoughts. So this is where spirituality and religion comes in. Now, when I think about my grandparents, we grew up in a Christian way. We always prayed for dinner. We blessed the food. It's almost like religion already knew something that we today know by science, that we actually have a influence on this. Because what happens when we bless the food? What happens if we say, we are grateful and thank you so much for this food, Father? What happens? We are creating different molecule structures in the water of the food, and most of the food is water. So when we eat that food, it's harmonizing for our cells. It's our body. It makes us healthy. Now, think about yourself when you start thinking about the things that you want to think about, the positive, the love, the life, the things you want to have. What happens to you? You are 75% of water. Now you start feeling the love. You filling your cells, your molecules, your water with love. You becoming an harmonizing, vibrating, beautiful, shining person, right? Instead of a negative, complaining thing that's always thinking about the same thing. So be careful the way you think. This is scientifically proven. It's the way it is. So don't mess around with this. Start thinking about the things you really want to think about in order to make those changes, even physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, lastly, guys, the third step, have faith. Have faith this life is happening for you. Why? I want to go back into the science for one moment. Why you need to have faith? Okay, there is a guy, René Pioch. He's a French scientist, and he put a field. There was a field, like 20 square meter field, and he put a robot with a random number generator in this field. A random event generator. Okay, so in this robot, when he switched it on, he basically went left and right. And after like half an hour running around, basically randomly he went the same amount of times to the left and the same amount of times to the right. So looking at the field, he was basically 50% in the left half, 50% in the right half of the field. Now, he take that robot and makes him look like a chicken. So he put some feathers in it, and the robot becomes looking like a chicken. Then he takes little chicks, little tiny baby chicks, and put them into a cage next to this field. Now, the little tiny baby chicks, they've been taken away from the mother. You don't take them away from the mother. So they see this robot, and they think the robot with the feathers, this is the mother. So what they're doing is they see the mother, and they start beep, 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 and screaming for the mother. And their whole intention, their whole belief is, this is the mother. Now, he lets this robot run for the next 30 minutes. After this experiment, he checks where the robot was. 90% of the time, the robot was only in the field of these little chicks. So what does it mean? That means these little tiny baby chickens with their little tiny brains and their little tiny hearts and their little tiny intention were able to influence the robot to be more with them. Were able to influence the result of what they want. Because they had faith, because they knew, they believed, they had a knowing that this is for them. This is the mother. So if the little tiny baby chicks with their little tiny hearts and little tiny brains influence a robot, what do you believe are you able to influence with your huge hearts and your huge magnetic fielders around you and your huge brains? The belief, the faith, the knowing. Okay, guys, this is science. And this is what you already know. 99% of the people just don't know how powerful they actually are. And I just want to here challenge you and give you this little reminder of you to fulfill any of your dreams. You have to understand how special you are, and you have these talents and gifts, and your heart is telling you this every day, but you need to start listening to it and then make the things happen that you create the movie you really love and wish to have. Because magic is literally possible, and it's touchable, and it's real, and it's scientifically proven, meanwhile. So I want you guys to please take this on, whatever you want to learn here and your ambitions to create the life you want to have. Take these knowledge nuggets as well into your toolbox, and just know you can create everything that you wish for by having a goal, thinking about the things you want to think about, and understanding life is life. It doesn't matter. If you have that goal, you adjust that sail, no matter from what direction the wind is coming. And next, work on the faith. Have faith. Just know life is happening for you. This is your movie, and it's okay if it's going like this. Embrace it when you're down there, because think about all the beautiful and amazing stories in your life. It always came from there to there. Thank you, guys, and see you next time.